So did you have a chance to see this week's activity, which is called Brexit? Mauricio, did you watch it? I mean, not watch it, but at least browse it, maybe completed it.
I just read it, but really fast.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. And do you guys know what Brexit means in your case, Mauricio, or do you have an idea what it means?
Well, it's what happens in, it's like breaking something. Yeah.
Yes.
Like what happens in the UK with the, yeah, well, yeah, that part.
Yeah, what about you, Leonel? Do you know what happens? I mean, what is the Brexit? What does it refer to?
I think it's only the exit about England to the European Union.
Yeah. Okay. Quick question for you guys. I mean, it's such a huge topic, and in 30 minutes or 40 minutes, we're not going to cover it all. But I want you to understand the general things about Brexit. And as Leonel mentioned, it's Britain leaving the European Union. Now, the question here is, what is Britain? Or let me type it here. How many countries are there in Britain? You can Google that, please. How many countries are there in Britain? Can you Google that, please, Mauricio? Or Leonel? Let me talk to Luciana while she connects. It says counties and it's countries. Hi, Luciana, how are you? Good morning. She's still connecting. Can you type, please, your answer on the chat or copy and paste it? Are there 4 or 5? 4 or 5? Which ones? So Mauricio, probably you are thinking about the European Union. That's why you put a high number. All right, so we're talking about only Britain. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so how many countries are there in Britain? And Luciana is here. Luciana, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, teacher.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine.
Yeah, all right. So any plans for the weekend?
Sorry, excuse me.
Okay, you're having problems with your connection. I understand. Don't worry. Angel is here. How are you, Angel? Good morning.
Hi, teacher. Good morning. I am sorry for being late in the reunion. I fell asleep because I'm sick.
Oh shit.
I'm sick since Wednesday.
All right.
I got fired the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Okay.
And I got since Wednesday. Because in the last Monday I went out to the street after I took a shower, so I think that's why I'm sick now. And
have you taken
now
any?
I'm adding the excuse me. Now I'm adding to my sickness the fact that I put the vaccine on Wednesday. So you can imagine how I feel.
All right. Have you taken any paracetamol?
I'm taking desenfriol with a cup of tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
At the night, I
Mhm.
I take two melubrin or two. I don't remember. I just say it. Desenfriol.
Okay. Yeah,
I
that's
took
it. That's the brand's
two
name.
and a cup
Mhm.
of tea.
All right. Okay. So thank you for showing up, Angel. So here on the chat, Mauricio is telling us that there are 4 countries that are part of Britain, which are you wrote in Spanish. That's okay. Don't worry. So it's England, North Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. All right. And one thing interesting to mention is that North Ireland, obviously, if there is North Ireland, there is South Ireland. What is the thing going on here? Well, what it happens between these two separate places, these two countries, North Ireland and South Ireland, is that they have a conflict. Okay, they have a political conflict. And well, I wouldn't say a political conflict. It's more about a religious conflict. You know, there are Christians versus or Catholics versus Protestants. So that's why they have this division, and that's why we have North Ireland. So we have, again, England, North Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. These 4 countries decided to leave the European Union. And now the European Union, it's huge. Okay, maybe Mauricio, in the Europe, how many countries are here? How many countries form the European Union? Can you please Google that and tell us the number? How many countries form the European Union? Okay, who's looking for it? Leonel, Mauricio, Angel, Luciana, you can search that information on Google, please. How many countries form the European Union? And I am typing a second question.
I found there are 27 countries.
27. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Angel. Let's wait. Mauricio, how many did you find? Angel says that 27.
Yeah, I'm still looking for.
You're still looking for it? All right.
Yes.
Okay, that's, yeah. Yeah, we'll wait. Leonel, have you found any information?
It's the same. I found it 27 countries.
It is correct. 27 countries are part of the European Union. The European Union, as the name says, it's the union of these 27 countries. And now, let's imagine that here in this continent, we have this union of all these countries in America, obviously including Canada, the United States. I mean, let's imagine that we have this American Union, right? Now, what could be the benefits of being part of a union? Let me type that into the chat, okay? So in the chat, you can see the question, what could be the possible benefits of being part of the European Union? You can guess, all right? You can guess the benefits. You can guess the benefits. What could be the possible benefits?
Well, you can go through the countries, like free pass.
Yes, that's right. That's a good one. Thank you, Mauricio. So you can travel across these countries. You can move freely with your passport, all right? So let me type it, all right? Move freely among these countries. All right. Thank you, Mauricio. And Angel here on the chat, he says, everybody can share one unique currency. Okay, that's another great answer. Thank you, Angel. So the currency, as we know, it's the euros, all right? The euros. In these countries, they use this currency. Okay, those are two benefits. So in this case, you don't have to worry about like exchanging your money for, I don't know, liras or I don't know, whatever you name it. You just have one single currency. Any other benefit that you can guess, Leonel?
For example, more facilities for make international trades and commerce.
Yes. Okay. That's a good answer. So it is easier for countries to make a trade with the rest of the world, right? Why? Because there is only one person who is in charge of all these international treaties, all right? So that's another good answer. So we have three benefits so far. So it's one currency, move freely among these countries, and you can have or make more easily international treaties with the rest of the world. Okay, now let me ask you this question. What about work? All right, what about work? What do you think could be a possible benefit for work for people? I mean, work inside the European Union. Any ideas? Okay, let me help you here. All right, Mauricio, do you have an idea? No, or no? Okay, now let's imagine that you are from Spain. All right, but there is, I mean, you just graduate from college, but there are no jobs for you in Spain. So you can move to Germany and you can find a job in Germany, right? But now the question is, what is going to happen when I retire? Cuando me jubile?
Yes.
When I retire, who's going to pay my pension? Who's going to give me money? Spain or Germany, right? So that's an interesting question. So what the European Union allows is that you can have your pension or your retirement plan from the country where you are born, in this case, from Spain. So what happens, Mauricio, let's say, again, the same example. You were born in Spain, but you are working in Germany. But 10 years later, the company decides to move you to Portugal. What is going to happen with the years that you work in Germany? All right.
That you can choose where to retire?
Yes. Well, again, same thing. You are going to retire with the money from Spain, but you can accumulate the years that you work in every country that you were living, right? So let's say that you work 10 years in Germany, plus 10 years in Portugal, and finally you decide to retire for 10 years, I mean, to work for 10 years in, I don't know, in Italy, all right? So you can add these three countries in these 3 decades, and in the end, you are going to get your money from the government of Spain, all right? So what this means is that you can work in different countries, but you are going to retire, or you're going to get the money from the retirement of one country, all right? Now, let's say that you have kids, all right? You have kids and you are now working in Germany, but your boss tells you that you need to move to Portugal. What is going to happen with your kids? What about a school? I mean, what about the school? Any ideas?
maybe you can get like a revalidation or something.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah, you can have validation. Yeah. I mean, whatever you study, let's say that your kids are studying in Germany, but you decide to move to Portugal. Okay, so your kids can move from school to school freely with no problem at all, because the studies, as we say here in Mexico, el plan de estudios, the studies are the same thing. All right, so you don't need to worry like, oh, it's because my kids, they were in another system which is different from here. Now what is going to happen? No. So what they created, let me type it here, is the they created common European framework. That's what they created. Okay, I just typed it here on the chat, the common European framework. What is the common European framework? In Spanish, it's translated as el marco común europeo. What is that? Probably you have heard or have seen in the books of English or German or French, if you are studying those languages, that they tell you like, oh, I am in A1 level. You're like, A1 level? What is that? Or A2, or B1, or B2. So what this means is that they created 6 levels in total, okay? A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1 and C2 levels. So what they created is that they created this common European framework, not only for languages, but they created this for social sciences, for biology, for chemistry, for basically anything. And let's say that when you are working in Germany and your kids are studying in the A1 level, well, if you move to another country, they are going to validate their studies and go to the same exact level where they were studying. Now, any questions so far? No questions?
No, teacher.
So,
all right.
What I understand is that the years are getting accumulated.
Excuse me, Mauricio, I couldn't hear the question.
So if you are working like in Spain and in Portugal, the years are getting like accumulating?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
It means that you don't lose anything, all right? You don't lose anything. That's the idea. So imagine this. Let me add one more benefit. One more benefit is that you're going to be thinking, oh, I never thought about that. Another benefit, I'm writing it here on the chat, which is, I think I misspelled it, transplants. All right, that's correct there. Have you thought about it? The transplants. When a person is sick, and let's say that needs a liver, right, un hígado, right? So the European Union helps you to search in their databases for a liver from one of these 27 countries, right? Let's say that one person from Spain, needs a transplant, and there is a person living in Portugal. And so what they do is that they, like super fast, they move like helicopters or airplanes to do the transplant as quick as possible. So what we have here is that the possibilities or the chances of receiving a transplant are wider. Let's say that you live in a small country and the chances or the opportunities of receiving a transplant are going to be small. So again, we have talked about a few benefits. We have talked about work, school, currency, and transplants. Now the question is, let me type it here. Why did Britain decided to leave the EU, the European Union? Why did Britain decided to leave the European Union? Any ideas? That's crazy. What do you think? You can guess again.
Yeah, I think it's something like its currency was more valuable than the euro.
Yeah. That's a good point. They are using the British pound. Okay, the British pound. Now, do me a favor, Mauricio. Please search on Google how much is 1 British pound versus how much is 1 euro today, please. Angel, you were going to say something.
Yes, I think maybe they go away from the European Union because maybe they don't found something, or maybe they don't agree with some trades or business with the other 27 countries. And maybe when I remember that England or the British, the country, part of the Commonwealth, so maybe can get more benefits than being in European Union.
Okay, all right. Yeah, thank you, Angel, for your opinion. Luciana, are you there? Can we hear you, please? Thank you, Mauricio, for telling us about the British pound. Okay, so how much is 1 British pound, Mauricio, versus Mexican peso, please? Convert 1 British pound to Mexican peso. So, Luciana, do you have any ideas why did Britain decided to leave the European Union? You can guess, of course. There are no correct or incorrect answers.
Emotional.
Emotional.
The British feel displaced, the London.
Yes, totally. It was something emotional. Okay, thank you for sharing that idea with us, Luciana. Emotional, and what they mentioned in the reading or the lesson for this week is that the British didn't feel identified with globalization. So remember that we're in Unit 3 and we're seeing the benefits of globalization. And of course, there are some good things, but also some negative things. So what they mentioned, I don't know if you remember this, Luciana, but they mentioned that globalization or middle-class people don't feel really, some parts of the middle-class people don't feel really identified with globalization. They don't feel or they don't see the benefits. All right. Okay. Here, Mauricio is saying 1 British pound is 27 pesos. So that's high, right? Okay, that's super high. And some people thought that with the Brexit, their currency would lose value, but this hasn't happened. This hasn't been the case. Now, let me open the lesson here and share it with you guys. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. So here we have four questions. And we have been talking about them so far. Now, on the second page, it says, listen to what two Brexit and globalization experts, which are Rob Much, a British journalist and editor, and Andreas Becker, a German economist and book author, have to say about the issue. While listening, answer the questions below. So there are 3 questions, and this listening exercise is kind of difficult. Why? Because it's people with, it's a German journalist talking in English. And we can say that, oh, he has an accent that I am not really used to listening. Okay, so that's why I think this is a good listening exercise. And you can listen to this as many times as you think that it's necessary, all right? And here, on the next exercise, which is, it's a video about Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister of Canada, as we know. And he says, globalization isn't working for ordinary. Okay, what does it mean? It says, another skeptic of today's state of globalization is Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. In an interview with The Guardian is a newspaper from England, he said, what we are facing right now in terms of the election of Donald Trump, okay, this interview was recorded when Donald Trump was elected. So this is kind of recent. What we're facing right now in terms of the election of Donald Trump, the Brexit vote, the rise of populism and anti-establishment, nation-first parties, and divisive and fearful narratives around the world is based around the fact that globalization doesn't mean to be working for the middle class, for ordinary people. So what Justin Trudeau is saying here is that globalization only works for the rich people, all right? You can see like the former CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, you know, he became super wealthy after this pandemic. So he's now like super rich that he's organizing these trips to the space. This is space tourism. And Justin Trudeau, he's saying, however, instead of isolating Canada from the rest of the world, Trudeau offers a different type of solution to solve this problem. Watch the following interview and answer the questions on the next page. So here, you're going to watch the video, of course, and here there are some questions that I wrote for you guys. Write down the key points Trudeau mentions regarding the following topics. Finding common ground with Donald Trump. So what this question means is, what does Trudeau have in common with Donald Trump? All right. Donald Trump is, remember, the super controversial, guys, with his ideas. And surprisingly, in this interview, we see that he has something in common with Donald Trump. Okay. And then they talk about the economy, the environment, and climate change. All right. And climate change is super important, which in fact, we're going to dedicate it next lesson to climate change. Next, they talk about resources and responsibility. What is the responsibility of Canada in front of the world, okay, regarding the topic of resources? And finally, he mentions or talks about what is Canada's role in the world, okay? And lastly, I created this activity on Nearpod. Let me type it here. Let me see if I can go here and let me share it with you. And see. Okay, it says, bienvenido a tu lección. Can you see that? Can you see my screen on Nearpod? No?
We still seeing the PDF.
Okay, the PDF, right? Let me switch it. Let me switch. Okay, there. I just switch. Okay, it says, bienvenido a tu lección. It's in Spanish. Why? Because my computer is set up in Spanish. If yours is in English, it would be definitely in English. So it says, bienvenido a tu lección, nombre completo, okay? And you can write an apodo, un apodo. That is optional. It says join, únete, okay? And here, there is this lesson about the Brexit, okay? That's the cover page. And what are the learning objectives for this activity, okay? By the end of this lesson, you will identify key terms relating to the UK's planned exit from the European Union, explain why Brexit has been a complicated legal and political process, and analyze the meaning of the latest election results in the UK. So with this lesson, you're going to have more clear what is a Brexit, what happened, why it happened, and what could be some possible consequences of leaving the European Union. All right, so let's get started. It says here, encuesta or poll, okay? Okay, it says, how much do you know about Brexit? Okay, A, nothing, B, a little, C, a lot, all right? And you can choose whatever you want. For example, I'm going to choose here, I know nothing. I know nothing about Brexit, all right? Then, election results. Back in 2019, in the UK's recent elections, the Conservative Party scored an electoral victory, led by UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Before we explore what this means for Brexit, let's learn some key terms related to this topic. All right. So, number one, the European Union. We just mentioned it. The European Union is an economic and political union of 28 European countries. Remember that we say 27. Why do you think is that difference, 28 or 27? It's because Britain was still part of the European Union. That's why. Now it's no longer. That's why they mentioned 27. Okay. The second one is Brexit. Okay. The United Kingdom's decision to exit the EU, abbreviation for Britain's exit. Next one, referendum. A referendum, it's a general vote by an entire electorate, the body of people who are eligible to vote on a specific issue. So a referendum is that a country or a group of people says like, hey, let's vote for this idea. Like, for example, here in Mexico, next year, we are going to vote whether we like it or whether we want Andrés Manuel López Obrador to continue being the Mexico's president or not. Okay, so that is a referendum. Okay, and the next one is parliament. What is that? It's the highest legislative body of government in the UK. MP is a member of parliament. Okay, so a little bit of vocabulary here. And you're going to watch a video on the next slide. And so there are videos, there are readings, there are exercises that help you understand the Brexit. I am going to stop sharing my screen because I want to see you guys because we have only 3 minutes left. All right. So tell me here. Okay, where are we? What is my? I got lost now. Okay, there I go. Hey, okay. There I go. Okay, now tell me, guys. So, what do you think of this lesson? Do you like this this week's lesson? Do you think it's interesting or it's kind of boring?
Well, for me, it's interesting because I always want to know really what happens in the Brexit. Because I hear a lot about that, but it's easy when you have like the information and
all right
instead of searching by myself.
Okay, thank you for sharing your comments, Mauricio. What about you, Leonel?
For me, it's too interesting because I know something about the Brexit, but not well, and I can learn more things.
All right, and you, Angel, what do you say?
I also found it interesting, teacher, because I like all the the things of the European countries. I would like to. I wish I could travel sometime.
All right.
To Britain. So it's I think I will be very interesting, and maybe I will search more information about it.
All right. Thank you, Angel. Luciana, is there anything that you want to say?
Pues it's very interesting And I don't know why Gran Bretaña.
Okay.
Yo no sabía por qué no pertenecía a la Unión Europea.
All right. So Zoom is telling me to say goodbye because we're running out of time. Thank you guys for coming. Have a nice weekend. I hope you learn a lot about Brexit. All right. So have a great day and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Professor. Bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank
Bye.
you, teacher. Bye.
Thank you. See you soon. Have a nice weekend.
You too. Let me